Hi, this is Dylan Hammock. This is my week 5 map. The first thing they asked me to do was highlight the coastal plain. Then they asked me to highlight the Philistine Avuval plain. Then they asked me to highlight the hill country. Then they asked me to highlight the wilderness. Then they asked me to highlight the Shepla. Then they asked me to highlight the western Negev and the eastern Negev. And they asked me to highlight Moab, and then Medeba Plateau, and then Ammon. After this, they asked me to put an orange box around Ephraim and an orange underline under Benjamin. I messed up. I should have put an orange line under here. It also tells you to put a green box around Judah, and to finish off by putting an orange dot on Bethel. Next thing they asked us to do was to trace the coastal route. It starts at Gaza, it goes past Eshkelon, it goes to Ashdod, then it tells us to go to Jabneel, then it tells us to go to Ono, to finish off at Afek, go off the map. The second route they asked us to do starts at Yazura, you go to Yazah, you go north and you go to Tel Hesi, and then you go to Gath, and then you go to Ekron, and then you go to, do you go there? I'm sorry. You go to Ona, you go to Lod. Yeah, you go to Gibbethon, which is there, then you go to Lod, and then you go to Afek, and then off the map. Then you start at Gaza for the next one. You go to Gerar, which is here, then you go to Beersheba, Aurora, and off the map. That finishes the highlighting of routes. The next thing they asked to do is put some green numbers in places. The first one starting was right here, Gibad. The second one's Ramah. The third one was right here. It's a place called Nob. You have to look at another map to find that. The next thing they asked us to do was on number 4 next to Gath. Then they asked me to put a number 5 next to Adullam. Then they asked me to put a number 6 next to Moab. And they asked me to do a number 7 next to the stronghold. Then they asked me to do number 8 next to Kala. And they asked me to do number 9 next to the wilderness of Ziph. Then they asked me to do a number 10 next to Gedi. And they asked me to do a number 11 next to the stronghold again. And they asked me to do number 12 in the wilderness of Paran. Right there. Then they asked me to do a 13 in the wilderness of Ziph. They asked me to do a number 14 in Gath, which we had right there, so we put next to that, and then a 15 finishing off with Ziklag. They then asked me to highlight Gath and to highlight Ziklag. And the first thing they asked me to do was put a blue circle around a couple things. They asked me to put one over Gaza, Ashkelon, Ashdod, Ekron, and Gath, so we put a blue circle around all those. Then in blue caps, it told me to put in the area between Ashkelon and Gath, Philistines. After that, it told me to put David, a Philistine sheriff in the Negev next to Ziklag, stacked. When we finished with that, it asked me to first highlight Hebron, which is right here, then to highlight Arad, and then to highlight Beersheba. Then it told me to write in black caps the Calebites next to Hebron. Then it asked me to do Kenites next to Arad, and Simeon next to Beersheba. After that, it told me to write in small orange capital letters at the very bottom left corner next to the scale, Alamites. After we finished writing Alamites, it asked us to circle highlight effect, and just circle it in blue, and then to draw a blue arrow from Lod towards effect, and then to write on that blue arrow Philistines mobilization. After that, it asked me to draw a green arrow from Gibbethoth to the end of that arrow, and then put David and his men. After we finished doing that, it asked us to do some orange sweeping arrows at the bottom here. First from here to Beersheba, And then from Beersheba to Ziklag, and then from Ziklag to the Amalekites again. And then it asked us to put a red circle around Ziklag. And after we wrote a red circle around Ziklag, it asked me to write in small black caps on the first one, Amalekites attack, and then Amalekites take spoiled on the last one. After we finished doing both of those things, it asked me to put a sweeping green arrow from Tel Ari to Ziklag, so Tel Ari to Ziklag, and then put David returns to Ziklag. And then it asked me to put, actually it didn't ask for that yet, I'm sorry. And then from Ziklag to go southwest parallel the orange to line, so we went southwest, and then we went parallel to Amalekites. And then it told me to put David returns to Ziklag on the A arrow, so I put him there. David returns to Ziklag on the first arrow, and then it told me to put David pursues on the last arrow, so we went in and put that. Sorry, let me find where I'm at. The next thing they asked us to do was to highlight the Transjordan Highway, which starts over here. And they asked us to first go from Kir, which is at the bottom, to Dibon, which Dibon is there. From Dibon, it asked us to go to Medeba. Then it asked us to go to Rabbah, which Rabbah is way up here. And just go north off the map. It asked me to highlight Arnon, which Arnon is hard to find, but it's right there. And it also asked me to highlight the Medshep Canyon, which is right next to Arnon. They're both right here. After that, it asked me to highlight Dibon, which is right here, and I highlighted that, and I put Misha's base, because that's what her base was. Then it told me to highlight Jericho, which you can see I did there. And also it told me to highlight Bethel, which was earlier shown, which is up here. And then it told me to put a blue box around the regional name Dibon and Moab. So Moab and Dibon have now blue squares, blue boxes around them. The next thing they asked me to do was sweeping blue arrows from Kir in Moab, past Beersheba, which is there, and then across the Dead Sea, so we went across the Dead Sea, and then up north on the bank, it asked us to go to the Engedi Springs. And after we went there, it asked us to write in small black letters on the arrow, Moab, Ammon, and men of Mount Seir. So we went and wrote that. It asked us to put red circles around the Engedi and also the Engedi Springs, so we went ahead and did both of those. Then it asked us to put a green box, around Jerusalem, which is up here. You can see Jerusalem right there. One moment, please. Sorry. After that, I'm trying to find where I'm at, 58. We had to do Event 17, but Event 17 is actually not on the SCA map.